Welcome to Build Out with Jim Kunkel, your go-to broadcast for learning more about business in the real world. Your host, Jim Kunkel, who is an accomplished professional in business development, sales, and marketing, and is a technical content creator along with being a rising influencer on LinkedIn. On Build Out, you'll get the latest information and knowledge from subject matter experts from across the globe. Okay, let's get this Build Out broadcast started. And here's your host, Jim Kunkel.
I'm Jim Kunkel, and welcome to Build Out. I'm very pleased to announce I have a very special guest with me, Eleni Anastos. Eleni, how you doing today?
I am good. I'm so excited to be here with you. Thank you again for inviting me to join you.
It's great to have you. Before we talk about money mindset and everything that goes with it, you're a celebrity now. Well, you've always been a celebrity. How about that? But you were on the list, and I had a chance to watch that. What an amazing broadcast that was. What an outstanding job you did. You do it for the viewers. Can you talk a little bit about what the list is and what that episode was that you did that they could actually check out? And I'll make sure I put the link in the comments so they can check it out on YouTube.
Oh, thank you so much for asking. Yes, the list airs on ABC across the country, and they do segments for covering a variety of topics. I'm brought on to do money mindset. I think that was my 7th segment, all about money mindset. But they have segments that cover everything from health to business and everything in between. So I was very grateful. A producer there kept inviting me back, said, we want another segment. And this most recent one that was just aired last week was all about your money consciousness, how to choose the type of spender and a saver you are, because so many people really just go on autopilot, are practically unconscious when it comes to opening their wallets or putting money away. And it's so important to really put yourself in the driver's seat and have that awareness and understand your patterns with money, especially where spending and saving is concerned.
Very good. And like I said, please check out the comments after watching this episode with Eleni and watch the list, watch that episode that she did. What an amazing information, a lot of great value out of that. And Eleni, I really appreciate what you do, both publicly and then also too professionally that you do with a lot of your clients. It's good deeds there. Really great stuff that you do.
Thank you so much.
When we, just so everybody knows, April is going to be focused on for Build Out. Business, finance, talking a little bit about related to economics and things like that. Mm-hmm. Our conversation that we're going to have with Eleni today talks about money mindset, because you can have an amazing concept as a business entrepreneur starting up, or maybe you're already experienced as an entrepreneur, but if you don't have the right money mindset, you can get yourself in trouble. Is that correct, Eleni?
100%. And we're all hardwired to deal with money, and really how you do money is how you do anything. And if you are not clear on your connection to money, then you're going to have issues, because I see most people giving their power away with money. And it doesn't matter to me if you're making 10,000 a year, 100,000 or 100 million. I find that so many people have a disconnect when it comes to money. And in fact, they've given money a life of its own instead of putting themselves in the driver's seat. And, in the bottom line, money impacts all of us on a daily basis. It touches every aspect of a business. So that makes it even more important to be connected to it and put yourself in the driver's seat with it, to have the right mindset.
Yeah, so true. April is tax month, and so a lot of people will be either happy, although you don't want to be happy getting a refund because you never want to have the government holding your money. But it also can be a very, solemn and sad time when you have to break out that checkbook or electronically transfer some money to Uncle Sam to help pay the government bills.
Yes. And rarely do we want money going out. Of course, we always want the money coming in. I appreciate that. I get that. I'm right there with you. But what I see the problem is when people give their power away and almost blaming money, like, oh my gosh, I have, X $1,000 tax bill, or my car broke down, or I have this unexpected medical emergency. And people blame money. The money didn't make your car break down. The money didn't cause you to have, the medical emergency. So the reality is people are giving money too much power in that aspect when the power should be in their shoes. You should control money. It should not control you. So when you do get hit with these bills, if you know that you're empowered with money, you're going to figure it out. You're going to move forward, and it's not going to take you out of your game.
Is it very hard to have a mindset when it comes to money?
It's hard to have a positive one because everybody has a money story. We all grew up with one. How we watched our parents or close family members deal with money. We adopted it almost subconsciously. And it may serve people. It may be very good tactics and strategies and lessons that you learned, but it also may be things that you learned that are not supporting you now as an adult in your personal life, in your business. And you've got to be willing to examine that. But again, most people don't want to. And I say, we all have a relationship with money. So I ask people, if you want a rich and rewarding relationship, with your spouse, with kids, with clients, with friends, don't you have to pay attention to them? So how can you expect to have this rich and rewarding relationship with money if you're only viewing it as that necessary evil?
Very good point. Very good point. And, some of the things that I've learned from you over, the past year that we've known each other, it just, boy, that's gone really fast.
Yes.
When we first started talking with each other, and, your book, very successful book, Finding Purpose. And, again, everybody should check out Eleni's book as well. I'll have to put a link in the comments below as well on that. But Eleni, some of the things I learned from you is that, when it comes to money mindset, if you really have a goal that you're looking to do, I want to have X amount of money, put away as either for retirement or for emergency or whatever the purpose might be.
Right.
Your process in which you've explained to me and a lot of others that you work with, you can really achieve that, but it takes a strong commitment to making sure that, again, that mindset sticks and you don't stray from that. And what I like about it is you talk about journaling in your what's going out and everything like that.
Right.
How would you recommend somebody journal what their expenses are or what's going out on a daily basis?
Yeah. Well, I call it money tracking. And again, you have to pay attention to it because the reality, money's going to get your attention whether you want it to or not. So when you initiate the attention with money, that's putting yourself in control. You're in the driver's seat. And what I ask all clients to do, first and foremost, is to track all the money that comes in, because you want the focus on what's coming in, of course. You want to bring more in. Who doesn't? So every day, you're just taking a couple of seconds to write that number down. And it's before expenses, before taxes, whether it is through your work, through commission, found money, gift money, you write that number down. And yes, even on days when that number is zero, you write that zero down. And I've had people try to fight me on that. Like, I'm not going to put the damn zero down. I don't want to see zeros. I get that. But that again means the money is controlling you. You're not controlling it. And when you track your money, then you can look at it and see patterns. Maybe there's a certain time of the month. Maybe there are, certain programs or things that you've put out at different times of the year where you can either see the spikes or the dips regarding your money. So it's not used to shame you or guilt you, because there's enough guilt and shame going around where money is concerned. It's used to give you the awareness. So be willing to track your money so you can see patterns about what comes in and when it comes in. And when you see patterns, then you can make different decisions to change what's happening in your bottom line.
That's a very good point. When you track it, you can understand it. And if you track it on a daily basis, you're going to be able to look for trends, and you're going to be able to look for ways that maybe you could cut some things. Maybe you've got some runaway expenses where you're going to the movies every weekend. And not to say you can't have fun from time to time, but again, if it's going to impede in your money mindset or your goals that you're looking to achieve, You have to be able to be flexible. You have to be able to make adjustments. And, from time to time, I've had friends on diets where they have what they call a cheat Friday, and they'll kind of let the guard down and let the diet go for a day, and have a couple donuts or something like that. Maybe you can do that, and I think what you do is you kind of bake it into what you're talking about, into the plan, so that occasionally maybe you want to be able to have a vacation or do something, as long as you're able to really, let's say, justify it, and make sure you're in the position to be able to do it. Why not? Why not enjoy yourself as well? But far too many people, and I think you've encountered this as well with probably even some of your clients too, where they complain a lot about, hey, I'm living paycheck to paycheck and I just cannot get out of that. I'm going to live like this my whole life. Sometimes I have a hard time accepting that, although I've, in my life, we've been there. You have kids, you have expenses, you have things that are unexpected that happen. And sometimes if it does put you in a situation where you are kind of living paycheck to paycheck, or maybe you're not in the right career, you haven't found yourself just yet. What's some of the recommendations you have for someone who might say, listen, I'm stuck in a paycheck to paycheck and I just can't get out of it?
And for so many people, I love that question. First of all, so many people do get stuck at a financial set point, because the majority of people absolutely make or bring in somehow, some way, just what they need, to keep the lights on, to keep moving forward. And I'm saying the majority. I know there's a lot of other things that happen to some folks that are beyond your control. And when I'm talking about money and your relationship with it, please know I'm talking about the long game, year after year. I'm not talking about, the insanity of the last 2 years where things happen beyond your control. Because if you get it right in your head, if you have the right mindset. So if you feel stuck, like you've plateaued, I'm just getting by, I'm just making enough. That's your financial set point. You can raise that financial set point, because subconsciously you're not realizing, okay, I know I need to bring in, say, $3,000 to cover my monthly bills, mortgage, utilities. So you're bringing that in, you're working just hard enough to bring that in. But what I want people to do is to raise that bar. So even though it might not technically be true, say that your minimum amount you need to bring in is $3,100, and you commit to it. We call that the warrior line. You're going to commit to bringing that in and never going below it. And you'd be surprised, how you can start climbing up in increments. You find a way to do it. And, if you're an entrepreneur, is it making more sales calls? Is it offering another product or a service? If you are in a regular job that has a fixed income, so you're working hard, but it's the same number on that paycheck, then you still have the chance to be creative. Maybe there's a side hustle. Maybe there is something else that you can do. But if you really do want to raise your financial set point, which I believe is possible for everyone, you have to be willing to look at those numbers.
That's a great point. And you're talking about the side hustle.
Yeah.
Years back, I had worked for a little over 4 years actually at Lowe's Home Improvement. It was a job where the incentive and the base pay was pretty much consistent, not bad, but it didn't have the flexibility to really exceed out, let's say, and max out to a higher incentive level or commission. So I used that opportunity when I did take the part-time job. And actually, I was amazed just working, 20 hours on the weekend, starting off around $13. And, by the end of that, that fourth year, I think I was over $15 an hour. I was really able to pay off a lot of bills and put some of that money away. So there are other ways. And I understand, listen, if you're working in I almost said an 80-hour work week, it seems like anymore we work that. There's a will, there's a way. Is it tough? Yeah. Is it tough? It's a grind, no doubt about it. But when you have financial freedom, you feel so much better when you have that financial freedom versus the financial slavery. I know, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I love that you compared that, because it is about freedom, because I don't want people to exhaust themselves. I don't want you to drain yourself.
Yeah.
but I do want it to be your choice, because I was speaking recently to a group of entrepreneurs, and this one gentleman in the group said, well, I've learned it's not about the money. I've learned life's not about the money. And you could tell I triggered something in him because he was very upset. He said, I'm not chasing the almighty dollar. I said, I'm not telling you to. What I want you to do is make it your choice. I don't care if you want to make 50,000 a year or 50 million or anywhere in between. I want it to be your choice. So when you know what you want and need for your standard of living, then you need to reverse engineer and figure out how to make that happen. Because I see all too many people lowering their standards to meet circumstances. I'm saying raise your standards, then create the circumstances that'll get you there.
Very good on that. And it comes down to the drive too of the individual. If you're an entrepreneur, you'll look at a lot of people who are innovative. If you create a new, social media platform, you look at the rise of some of the social media platforms are out there, and we're talking like Zuckerberg. It's worth how many billions of dollars, right? Or supplying on-demand products like Amazon does and Jeff Bezos, and so when they were younger, were they thinking about, one day I'm going to be the most richest, one of the wealthiest people on the planet? Probably, maybe they were, but they had an innovative concept idea, and it worked out. It won out at the end of the day. So success can happen to anybody. It doesn't matter where you're from, what walk of life. You're your own limitation when you think about it.
Yes.
There's no one out there, there's nobody out there holding you back in most cases than yourself. So how do you encourage people to free that, break that cycle, get out of that, break those chains and kind of unleash yourself?
And I love that you said that, because it is all about taking your power back. Again, if you're going to give all your power to the external circumstances, there are so many people in the last 2 years that started businesses that are thriving, that created something new. I mean, my first national TV segment aired, I think, 6 months into the pandemic. I wrote my book. I published my book. Like, I didn't stop. And was any of it easy? Hell no. But you mentioned having that drive, that commitment to yourself. So again, please don't lower your standards to meet circumstance. Raise your standards and create the circumstances to get there. But first and foremost, you have to decide. The decision comes first. And I tell this to everybody I work with. You have to decide that you're not staying where you're at. Because I've had a lot of people say, and I hear it when I do my talks to other groups, I wish this or that would be nice. Wishing and hoping is not going to get you anywhere. So please decide that you want something different. And then we have to get crystal clear on the action plan that's going to get you to those goals. Because once you start taking action, it's so important. And it could be the smallest step. Say, just start with money tracking to take your power back with money. And you start to see the shift, because so many people want that big win right out of the gate. Like, I want to win the lottery, then I'm going to love money. Well, hello, that, as you've heard me say before, that book, Life is Fair, is in the fiction section of the library. So we know that it's not fair. Things are going to happen. But when you put yourself in the driver's seat, when those unexpected things happen, it doesn't level you. It doesn't take you out, because you're going to figure out a way to make that money. If you talk to any of the big names out there, that are wildly successful in any arena, from any industry, none of them are concerned, because so many of them have lost millions. They've created millions. Yeah. They've lost their empire, but they knew they could rebuild it. That's what was the fuel for their fire. And so I don't want people to think, I'm overwhelmed. I have to know how to do all of this right now. I can't possibly see how I'm going to get to the top of the mountain. Don't worry about that. What I want you to do is decide that you want to get there. Then we're going to reverse engineer the action steps that it takes. And it's so vital to get in action right away, right away. Even changing that one habit, like doing the money tracking, and you start to gain some momentum, because so many people don't move forward because they don't know every step of the way. And we've talked about, using that GPS analogy, and I love doing that. People think I can't move forward because I don't know every step of the way, because I fear making mistakes, or I'm not going to be able to figure it out on my own. Well, first of all, none of us were meant to do this alone. So always reach out for support. But when I think of people that are so fearful because they don't know every step, like what happens when you're using GPS and you make a wrong turn, you make a mistake, you're off the designated route. In all of my years, I've never heard a GPS system say, you're stuck, you're screwed, game's over, you got to stay here forever. No, they say rerouting or recalculating. So if you try one path to raise that financial set point and it doesn't work, let's look for the lessons in it and regroup and recalculate and keep going forward. Fail forward. You can fail forward if you look for the lesson in it.
Yeah, you do. Failure is a learning opportunity. Missteps are great course correction opportunities for you. And you have to be really diligent when it comes to understanding exactly what had occurred or
Yes.
what's occurring and how do you remedy that. And don't be afraid to ask for outside help, a third party,
Yes.
a professional like yourself, where you've been. Your life story is an amazing story, one of reinvention, but also too of great success. And people can learn, as I have learned a lot from you, providing the guidance, and then also too, here's some of the things you need to do in your life to turn yourself around, or to reinvent yourself, or to get into that money mindset. And so don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah. As long as you're willing to grow through what you go through, you're going to make it. I believe that 100%, especially where money is concerned. I don't care how many bumps in the road there are, because they're going to be. But if you're willing to learn from it, you can keep moving forward. And one quick little story I share in my book about abundance and just having that right mindset. I was at a conference before I started my business, and there was a success panel of, wonderful coaches that were all hitting it out of the park. Now, my friend that I traveled to the conference with immediately said, I don't feel good. I'm going back to the room. Okay. And I stayed and listened to the success panel. And after they were all done presenting their journey, I went up to a few of them and said, I'd love to talk to you again. I want to hear more. And they were all very gracious. When I got back to the room, my friend's pacing back and forth. And she said, we are not like them. We are not successful like that. We are not fitting in here. And I said, first of all, cut out the we shit, because it's you and I that are not alike. And she said, what do you mean? I said, when that success panel came on, I wanted to learn from them. I didn't judge myself because I wasn't in the same place they were yet. And you ran away. So that type of mentality, you're going to stay stuck. So please, please don't judge yourself. There's so much guilt and shame around money. Don't judge yourself for what you have or don't have in the bank. As long as you're willing to ask for help and learn, you can move forward.
Perfect. Before we talk about your broadcast Finding Purpose, that's streams, actually live streams on LinkedIn and other platforms, let's talk a little bit about the book that you had published. It was last year, correct? 2021?
Yes. My book is called My Reinvented Life, Finding Purpose in the Pain. And the catalyst for me sharing my story, well, it was an incredibly traumatic event for me that turned my world upside down. The world that I knew, the life that I knew, ceased to exist in less than a day. And I'm sure there's many people that can relate to that on varying levels. And I went through quite the process of dealing with that pain and embracing my vulnerability and moving through so I could heal. But the really big turning point for me, when I knew I had to really step up and dig in, was when I couldn't get excited about my future. You know me, I'm always fired up about the future. I don't care what age you are. We've all got to have something to look forward to. I mean, I can't even imagine waking up without ever having something to look forward to. And when I was sitting alone, dealing with the physical pain, dealing with the emotional pain, I couldn't even think beyond next week, next month, let alone be fired up about the future. And I went, no, that was like, ooh, the light bulb, time to dig in and do some serious healing. I have to grow through this. And then I allowed myself to have a clean slate. You know, I didn't again let the external circumstances dictate what I was supposed to do or age, because I had so many people say, well, why don't you just retire? Why don't you just do this? Why bother? And please, if you take one thing away from this, don't let anybody else rent space in your head, because I promise you, they're just projecting their limiting beliefs onto you. Maybe they had dreams or goals or desires that they didn't go for. So don't stop yourself. So I found a way to get fired up about my future, reinvented my life, formally started my business, and I'm, beyond grateful. I love my work. I love connecting with clients. And I am so grateful to help people get back up again. Because you know me, I mean, we're friends as well. And I've said from day one, if even one person gets back up after reading my story, whatever kind of trauma, divorce, loss of job, something, whatever it is to you, and it doesn't have to be something huge that turns your world upside down. But one thing we have learned over and over again these last couple of years is that change is inevitable, and purposeful reinvention is a vital part of navigating that change so you can move forward.
That is so true. Take that away, whatever you take away from this broadcast today. Change is inevitable. Embrace a reinvention. And, I've gone through a reinvention, and we've talked about this multiple times, both personally and also here on broadcast as well. The one initiative that you have, the Fired Up Future, that's something that the viewers can participate in. And I believe you have a Facebook group that people can join. Would you want to quickly talk about that as well?
Yes, I started that in January of this year, and it's literally called Fired Up Future. And all are welcome, and it is a Facebook group. And I wanted to inspire people because I found that so many people, even whether they could verbalize it or not, they just want something to help pull them forward. They want to be excited again. Everyone's been through something. I never liked the phrase, well, we're all in the same boat. Bull. We're all in the same storm. Some people are in a yacht. Some people are in a little dinghy. Some people are hanging on for dear life. But regardless, I think everybody needs to be fired up about their future, personally, professionally, and it doesn't matter what age you are. So I created this group to offer the inspiration, the support, the tactics, the tips, the strategies to keep people motivated to look forward. And I remember telling my nephew a few years ago, we were going for a long car ride, and he was having a hard time getting excited about what was coming. And I said, how big is the rear view mirror? And he actually kind of measured it. And then I said, how big is the windshield? And I said, there's a reason that rear view mirror is exponentially smaller than our big windshield, because we're supposed to put most of our energy and attention forward. Learn from the past, but please don't make it a life sentence. Just get the lessons and keep going.
Fired Up Future.
Yes.
So, Eleni, your broadcast, are you still the same time, or have you moved your time for Finding Purpose?
Right now, it's still noon Eastern on Tuesdays, my Finding Purpose live stream.
Excellent. And that is actually here on LinkedIn Live. Facebook?
Yes, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter.
Twitter. Very good. Very good. Simultaneous streaming. I love that. Eleni, how can viewers get in contact with you? Because I'm sure they want to get in contact with you now.
Everything is branded under my own name. So you can look up find me through my website, elenianastos.com. Please don't hesitate to reach out here, message me directly on LinkedIn, anywhere. I'm on social media, on Instagram, on Twitter, because I really welcome any questions. I love cultivating, connecting, cultivating real relationships. So if you have any questions or comments, or you're curious about anything, please don't hesitate to reach out.
Perfect. Eleni, what an awesome conversation we had today regarding money mindset. You are a master when it comes to money mindset. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been awesome to connect with you.
It's been great. Have a great day.
Bye.
I hope you found value with today's Build Out broadcast. Make sure you connect with Jim on LinkedIn and subscribe to his YouTube channel. This way you'll be notified on new live streams and when new content is released. Please give today's broadcast a like and share with your connections and colleagues. Thanks for watching, and please visit buildoutproductions.com for additional content and to join the mailing list so you can keep updated on other streams and quality content from the creators on the Build Out Productions team.